We know well that we are towards the end of our liturgical calendar. We know what liturgical calendar means. It's the calendar of the church. And we are towards celebrating the Christ the King Sunday. And that's the end of the liturgical calendar. No wonder our reading speaks of the end, speaks of not the end, but the return. There's a difference between end, which is apocalypse, and the reconstruction or reconciliation or restoration, which is eschatological. So those are technical terms, but we should be well versed on it because that is what faith brings us. We are fond of entertaining thoughts about apocalypse, about the end of times. And apocalypse is about destruction. That is not what our faith brings. We are not towards ending. We are not towards destruction. We are towards welcoming our Savior. We are towards restoration of what has been destroyed by sin. That is what this liturgical calendar is about. Towards the end of our liturgical calendar, we are reflecting on restoration and we are challenged on it. We are men and women of faith and we should be a force towards reconciliation, towards restoration. Don't entertain thoughts about apocalypse, destruction, but eschatological. We are followers of Jesus. We are men and women of faith. We must work for peace, as the gospel says. We must work for love, as the gospel, as the message at the heart of the gospel. So that is how it should be. That's the challenge of the message of ending the liturgical year. That we should work more and work even harder towards restoration of what has been destroyed by sin. Work more towards reconciliation of what has been destroyed by injustice, by corruption. Work more for it. It's not about destruction. It's not about ending. It's about reconstruction, reconciliation, restoration in Jesus. And this gospel has a lot to say towards the end of the liturgical calendar. It has a lot to say because it suggests about, do not miscalculate. Look into the future. And when you say future, Jesus says, it's destructive because you fail to calculate it. It's destructive because we fail to say it even further. You fail to invest on it because you say it's long coming. You fail to invest on it because tendency of us people is we want to exert effort, we want to do something, but we want ROI immediately. We want to enjoy immediately. Albert Einstein once said that for him, one of the greatest discoveries of all time, for him, Albert Einstein, he said, one of the greatest discoveries of all time is the compounding power. That is in a mathematical sense. What is compounding power? Ask people into lending business. That interest rates thing into banking system, for Albert Einstein, the mathematical computation, he said that is one of the greatest discoveries, the compounding power. How is it projected? How is it calculated that you say interest rates go this way? How is it that those people engaging in condo business and banking system, how is it that they offer you this loan and this interest and then they are certain that they don't lose money? Because of that calculation. And it's about the future. That is in the mathematical sense. But that is a lot to say and suggest about what Christ says in today's gospel. That do not lose sight of the long future. Invest on what you could do for what is yet in the long future. Kana bitaw ang atong pinulungan sa Binisaya nga common kayo moingon, "Luam goy na dato sa eskwela, di lang ta mga eskwela. Sige tang kadungog ana, kada kong sayop ana." Because it speaks a lot of our character. We are a people who invest on something and who want immediate results and return of our investment. Immediate. We do something now, we want the profit this afternoon. Mo lang atong barbecuehan, Uska simana ra, lugi na. That's what happened to us. And even in our spirituality, it happens. Because we fall short of our calculation. Look far, look ahead. If your desire is heaven, then you're willing to invest in delayed gratification. You suffer now, you invest now, you make sacrifices now, because Christ promises heaven. The return is certain. It may not be so immediate, but it's certain. Christ says, come, follow me. I promise you this. Invest on this. Hey, if you do your fasting today, go to Mass today, it does not promise you that you are a good person tomorrow. If you pray your rosary tonight and read your novena prayers this afternoon and have your fasting and not eat your meal for dinner, it does not promise that you are a saint the next day. There is no such as that immediate result. But you are willing to invest on it, spend on it, because the promise is heaven. As we continue this Eucharistic celebration, let us have that kind of behavior in faith. Do something now, spend on something now for your future years. Make effort now. Think better now for future gratification, not for immediate returns. As we continue this Eucharistic celebration, let us ask that grace from the Lord, especially now that election is coming. Please, people, think far. Because if we go by consumption, what you only eat now, what you satisfy yourself now, it's about you enjoying it. Think far. It may not be you enjoying it now, but think ahead for the next generation. Spend on it. Look ahead. Because to be selfish and think only of now, according to Christ in this gospel, is very destructive.